قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن الصلاة في الحمام عن السلام على باد العورة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor yani hamamda namaz kılmak ve her bir sebepten dolayı edep yerini açılmış olan birine selam vermek yasaklanmıştır. Yani avret yeri açık hamamda namaz kılınmaz. Bir de ona selam verilmez. Yani çıplak insan için.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stated that it is prohibited to perform prayer in the hammam because the private parts become seen there, and he also, peace and blessings be upon him, prohibited in the hammam to say salam alaikum to a person whose private parts are to be seen. So it is prohibited to pray in the hammam where private parts are seen, and it is prohibited to say salam alaikum where to a person when his private parts are being exposed.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تصلوا إلى قبر ولا تصلوا على قبر. Peygamber buyuruyor Peygamberimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem ne mezara doğru ne mezar üzerinde namaz kılmayın diyor.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that you should not pray directly in direction of a grave, and you should not pray on a grave.
Peygamberimiz sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem mezarlar ayrı olur, namaz kılınacak yer ayrı şey.
Of course, there may be a graveyard, and that graveyard has graves, and then at a distinct place there may be a place dedicated for prayer.
Kâle Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem yani ama bizim burası gibi mezar ayrı olunca bir mahzur yok. Ama aynı yerde olunca o şey olmaz için.
So there is no problem in performing one's prayer if there is a clear separation between the graveyard and the prayer place, as is here the case.
Arada perde falan olsa da o gene şey oluyor. Doğrudan mezara olmuyor.
So there needs to be a spatial separation between the graves and the place where one performs prayer. So there should be at least a curtain, but one should not directly pray in direction of a grave without anything in between.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تمسحوا بالأرض فإنها بكم برة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki namaz kıldığınızda ile aranızda bir şey bırakmayın. Zira yeryüzü size merhametli bir anne gibidir. İnsan çünkü zineti yerdendir diye. Onun için yer şey olmaz. Nezaket olmaz. Yani yerin üstünde de kılınır.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, allowed to perform prayer on the soil, on the ground, on the earth. And he described the earth like a merciful mother. And the earth is the material out of which we humans are being created, and it is permissible and allowed to perform prayer on soil or the earth.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ابتدروا الأذان ولا تبتدروا الإمامة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ezan okumada yarışın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that hurry up when it's time to recite Adhan and compete with who is going to recite the Adhan first.
Yani kim daha önce kendini şey yapsın, ezan okusun. Ancak imamlık için öyle bir şey yapmayın.
However, when it comes to who is going to lead the prayer, when it comes to who is going to be the imam of the prayer, you should not compete with each other.
Çünkü imamlık sorumluluğu olan bir şeydir.
Because to lead the prayer as the imam entails heavy responsibilities.
Ezan olunca sorumluluk yok. Sen okuyorsun, herkes oluyor ama
there are no such responsibilities when it comes to reciting the adhan. You may recite the adhan, somebody else may recite it.
İmamlık olunca onun da cemaatin sorumluluğu var, senin sorumluluğun var. Onun için
But when it comes to leading the prayer, you're not only responsible for your own prayer as the imam, but you're also responsible for the prayers of all those people who pray behind you.
O ağır bir şeydir. Onun için çekinin imamlık yapmaktan, başkasını takdim edin olursa.
and that is a heavy responsibility, and therefore you should not compete with who is going to lead the prayer, but one should rather offer somebody else to lead the prayer if that's possible.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اجعل بين أذانك وإقامتك نفسا حتى يقضي المتوضئ حاجته في مهل ويفرغ الآكل من طعامه في مهل. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ezan ile ikametin arasında bir müddet var ki ara ver ki bir abdest alan kişi huzur içinde abdestini alsın.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stated that after having recited the Adhan, you should allow for enough time before the recitation of the Iqamah, so that people can perform their ablution in peace and they do not need to hurry or hasten during their ablution.
Yani ezan okununca hemen ikamet etmeyin, biraz bekleyin diyor Peygamberimiz.
So our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that there should be some time tolerance between the Adhan and the recitation of the Iqamah, so that people can perform their ablution in peace.
Abdestte olan insan abdestini tamam alsın. Yemek yiyen huzur içinde yemeğini yesin bitirsin diyor.
So people should have enough time to perform their ablutions, and they should have enough time if they were eating to complete their meal.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أخذ المؤذن في آذانه وضع الرب يده فوق رأسه فلا يزال كذلك حتى يفرغ من آذانه وإنه لا يغفر له مد صوته فإذا فرغ قال رب صدق عبدي وشهدت بشهادة الحق وشهدت بشهادة الحق فأبشر. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki müezzin ezan okumaya başladığı zaman Allah rahmet elini onun başının üzerine koyar.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stated that when the muadhin starts to recite the adhan, Allah Almighty puts his hand of mercy, his divine hand of mercy, onto the head of the person who recites the adhan.
Müezzinin başının üstüne koyar. Bu durum ezanı bitirinceye kadar devam eder.
And Allah Almighty will keep his divine hand of mercy on the head of the person who recites the adhan throughout the entire recitation.
Müezzin sesinin ulaştığı yer miktarınca bağışlanır.
And the person reciting the adhan will be forgiven to the extent to which his voice and his recitation of the adhan resonates.
Yani ne kadar uzağa gidiyorsa sesi o kadar bağışlanır.
So the further the voice of the muadhin is heard and the adhan is heard, the more his sins will be forgiven.
Ezan bitince Allah Azze ve Celle kulum doğru söyledi diyor Allah Azze ve Celle.
And once the muadhin completes his recitation of the adhan, Allah Almighty will confirm the completion and will say, "My servant has said the truth."
Gerçeğe şahitlik etti.
And Allah Almighty will say, "My servant has witnessed and confessed the reality and the truth."
Yani müezzin için şehadet getiriyor.
Allah Almighty himself is the witness of the muadhin.
Gerçeğe şahitlik ettin. Müjdeler olsun sana buyurur Allah Azze ve Celle'nin müezzine ikramıdır.
Thus, Allah Almighty is the witness of the muadhin, and He Almighty gives glad tidings to the muadhin who recites the call for prayer.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أودنا في قرية أمنها الله من عذابه ذلك اليوم. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki bir köyde ezan okunduğu zaman Allah o gün orasını azap etmeyeceğine dair güvence verir.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if in a place the adhan is recited, Allah Almighty will give his guarantee to lift affliction or calamities from that place and to protect that place where the adhan has been recited from calamities.
Yani o köydü, şehirdi falan nerede ezan okunursa Allah'ın azabı ama bazı insanlar var ezanlar rahatsız oluyorlar. Halbuki bilmiyorlar ne kadar onun yazan hürmetine belalar ne kadar başlarından gittiğini haberleri yok.
When the adhan is recited, Allah Almighty will protect that village, that city, everywhere that adhan is being heard. But people, they are unaware of the blessings of the adhan, and there are some people, foolish people, who get annoyed by the recitation of the adhan and they complain about it, but they are not aware of the protection they receive through this adhan, because it will protect that place from curses, from calamities, and from any badness to occur.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أذن المؤذن يوم الجمعة حرم العمل. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki müezzin cuma günü ezan okuduğu zaman herhangi bir iş yapmak haram olur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that during the day of Jummah, when the adhan for Jummah is being recited, it is prohibited to perform any worldly business during that time.
Yani bu cuma ezanı okunduğu vakit, yani sabah değil de cuma vaktinin ezanı.
So this applies not to the adhan of the Fajr prayer of Jummah, it applies to when the adhan for the actual Jummah prayer is being recited.
İmam Cuma'ya hutbeye çıktığı vakit, o vakit herhangi bir iş yapmak haramdır diyor Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem.
And then when the imam ascends to recite the hutbah, it is prohibited to engage in any worldly business, trade, or any other affair except then attending that prayer.
Yani alışveriş o hiç olmaz, hiç helal olmaz.
It is not permissible, it is not halal to do trade, business, or shopping at all.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أشفع الأذان وأوتر الإقامة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ifadelerin çift ezan ifadelerini çift okuyun.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that when you recite the adhan, repeat the statements, recite the statements twice.
Yani tekbir, kamet, ifade tek tek oku.
And when you recite iqama, then recite the statements once.
Şafiler de öyle yapıyorlar. Bizimkiler tabi her mezhebin kendine göre şeyi var.
And this is how the school of jurisprudence, the method of Imam Shafi, performs the recitation of the iqama.
O da muhakkak o yani faydası oluyor.
And according to the Hanafi method, we recite also during the call of the iqama, we recite the statements twice, and there's a blessing in following the example of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أطول الناس أعناق يوم القيامة المؤذنون. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kıyamet günü insanların boynu en uzun olanlar müezzinlerdir. Yani bu Allah'ın hikmeti onların ikram olarak öyle başkalarına ayırt olsun diye boyunları daha uzun olur.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stated that on the day of judgment, the people who will be the tallest will be the muezzin, those who recited the call of prayer.
Ezanın hürmetine.
It is for the blessing and for the sake of them having called for prayer and having recited the adhan that Allah Almighty will make their size to be the tallest among people on the day of judgment.
صدق رسول الله فيما قال كما قال زادت الله شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وأصحابه الكرام وإلى أرواح جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين خدماء الشرائع وإلى أرواح أئمة الأربعة وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العلية خاصة إمام طريقة وغوث الخليقة خواجة بهاء الدين محمد ويسير البخاري سيدنا عبد الخالق الجزواني مولانا الشيخ شرف الدين دارستاني مولانا الشيخ عبد الله فاز دارستاني مولانا الشيخ محمد ناظم الحقاني وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين ومن حفظاتهم وجوارهم Hüseyin Efendi ve Refakâ Hacı Mustafa Tüzer abi cümlemizin geçmişler ruhları için şehit şuhada dağların için Allah Teala Fatiha.